All right, we'll get started. And if she happens to ping me, I may come up to the screen. So my apologies if like all of a sudden my face looks large in front of you. That's the beauty of Zoom. So welcome. This is a session specifically for back care. And I just want to remind everybody that if you have any back issues or your pain is currently acute, please be sure to check with your primary care physician. Make sure that, again, they are aware that yoga is okay for you to do. And you know your body best. So remember, the first rule of yoga is ahimsa, do no harm. And that always means start by not harming yourself. Listen to what your body is saying. And again, if there's ever any type of sharp pain or again, significant discomfort, then please listen to that and either back off, stop doing what you're doing, and either come to lie on your back or take any comfortable pose that is necessary in that moment, okay? So why is the spine so important? Well, the spine basically our central nervous system. And there is my other guest. Welcome. We're just getting started. Thank you for joining us. And I was just explaining to the group about if you have any acute conditions to make sure that your physician is aware that you're practicing yoga and making sure that it is right for you, as well as you know your body best. So it's impossible for any yoga teacher to listen and or be aware of what you are experiencing inside yourself. So if there's ever a time where something is becoming painful or extremely discomforting, then please just listen to that, take the opportunity to come to your back or find another comfortable seat and just stop doing what is causing you pain, okay? So let me talk a little bit about a calm and supported spine. As I said, the spine basically is, imagine this long golden thread that runs through the center of your body from your pelvic floor all the way up through the crown of your head. And I like to think of it again as like this golden thread, particularly as we go into the holidays. It is housing your central nervous system. So having a calm spine basically helps feed that nervous system and keep the rest of ourselves calm and supported. The spine is designed to move in 5 ways. So there is a forward flexion, an extension, usually back, axial extension, which is both like the tailbone drawing down and your crown drawing upward. You have lateral side bend each side, and then your spine is also designed to twist. So if you are able to incorporate into every day some of those or all of those, hopefully, movements, you'll do a good job of keeping your spine nice and calm as well as supported. And then lastly, before we get started, is it's very important to have naval support. And so if you think of that lower abdominal, you place your hands there, and there's a lot of muscles and ligaments, particularly around the hips and the abdomen, that are designed to also support the spine. So the more that we can do to firm those up and get those engaged, the more they protect the spine and keep them upright. So the actions of your belly and your navel, as well as your breath, are significant in keeping a calm and healthy spine. So with that, we'll get started. You can come into any comfortable seated position, either on the floor, and if you are coming down to the floor rather than into a chair, then I highly suggest having a little bit of lift underneath you. So again, perhaps a blanket that is folded and or a block. And the importance of that is to allow a little bit of lift in your pelvic floor so that your legs kind of draw down towards gravity. And you're not feeling like you're fighting sitting upright all the time. Your legs can be extended or perhaps in a cross-legged position. And then again, if you are in a chair, then I suggest just sitting back so that you can feel the physicalness of the chair supporting underneath you, as well as having the back of the chair press against your back. So we will go through a little centering with our breath, move into some warm-ups. We'll come to do some on the knee and back positions, as well as come up into a standing. We'll do some standing poses, and then again, work our way back down to the ground, where we'll end with a belly and again, a supine position. Again, if anything doesn't feel right, everything can be modified. So do what's right. If you've practiced with me before, you know that there's lots of variations to every pose, and just about anything and everything that I'm doing or demonstrating from either standing or sitting can also be done in the chair. So I will try to offer up a lot of the modifications, but keep in mind that I may not always be able to. So as I said, just either go with what feels right or make it up. Yoga is way too important to be taken seriously. So laugh, joy, have fun, and enjoy the journey. So come to your comfortable seat and begin to make a connection with whatever is supporting you, whatever is beneath you, whether it is the floor or the chair seat, and finding your sitting bones, those little bony structures at the base of your spine. And then coming to your breath, noticing just the natural ebb and flow of the breath as it moves in through the nostrils and out through the same. And maybe take this time to set aside all of the busyness of the day ahead and allow yourself this time for your self-care, for arriving here on your mat. We're taking these next few minutes to journey inward and just check in with you. Allow the breath to be natural. And as you begin to come into your own quiet, maybe softening the gaze, allowing the eyelids to be heavy, or perhaps closing the eyes if that feels right. Notice the expansion and contraction that moves throughout the body, the belly, the chest, as your own breath flows through. Allow the intake to be new, rejuvenating, and fulfilling. And the out breath to send out all that no longer serves. Breathe in and breathe out. Noticing where the body moves and how. Maybe there's movement front to back, side to side. Check and whether your breath is shallow or deep, ragged or soft. And no need for judgment, no need to correct. It is what it is. Let it be. And perhaps begin to scan through your physical self, checking in to see and notice how you actually are right now, in this moment. Perhaps you'll come across any sensations, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual. Just take notice and let it be. Continue checking in. Continue with that journey. Go inside. The body has a lot of wisdom to share with you. Breathe in and breathe out. And draw your attention now to your heart center. As the breath flows in and out, consider your centering thought, your intention, perhaps for you, perhaps for someone else. As you inhale completely, breathe in that intention. as if it were already so. On your next exhale, let it go. Now let's draw the attention back to the breath and begin to elongate that breath. Perhaps counting to 3 or 4, or whatever your number it feels comfortable. Begin to lengthen the inhale on that count. Pause. And on the exhale, count back to 1. Pause. Begin the next inhale, counting upward. Pause. And exhale, count down to 1. Continue this elongated breath, this equal breath, for 3 to 4 more rounds. Breathing in all that renewing energy and breathing out with gratitude. Inhale, notice the breath come in through the nose. And exhale, feel it move through the body. And when you've completed, begin to lift the corners of your lips into a gentle smile as you flutter the eyes open, ready and arriving fully for your practice today. So let's begin on our backs. And if you can come to your mat, or again, if you prefer to remain in the chair, that's fine. If you need your cushions, a little bit of a blanket to perhaps lift the head, as well as if there is lower back pain or tightness in the legs, then place a blanket or a pillow underneath the knees, allowing the legs to relax where they are until you can continue to release that tension at the lower back. So coming down fully, have your knees bent, feet on the floor, and then just allow the knees to drop together into what we call a constructive rest pose. Allow the arms to rest by your side. And take perhaps just a few minutes of breath. Notice the breath move through the back body. And take a scan to become aware of all those points of your physical self that have made contact with the floor. Notice perhaps that delicate little curve at the lower part of the back, the lumbar spine, just before your buttocks. Can you breathe and soften that? Perhaps closing in on that space. Notice if there are other areas or pockets of space. Can you breathe in And on your exhale, allow those two to come a little closer to the earth. And gently move your heels closer to your buttocks. And on your inhale, let's raise the arms upward and exhale back. Inhale up and exhale down. As we move through this with our own breath, we're allowing that axial extension. Imagine that the crown of the head and that tailbone are drawing in opposite directions, pulling on that golden thread, finding a little spaciousness in that string of pearls that make up your vertebra. And on your next exhale, bring the arms back down to the ground, palms resting down. Take a deep inhale, pointing the nose up towards the sky. And as you exhale, rotate your head down towards your right shoulder. Inhale back to center and exhale to the left. Repeat and move through this nice and slowly, bringing a gentle mindfulness to your practice as you warm up that cervical spine. And maybe along the way, giving the back of your skull just a little bit of a massage as it rolls along the floor. If you are seated, then gently again moving your head from side to side. Allow the shoulders to hang off the skeleton. And just move the head from side to side. And then coming back to your center. Imagine and take notice of your chin. And as you inhale, begin to lift that chin slightly upward. And then exhale back down, maybe tucking it in slightly. Inhale up and exhale down. Keep breathing. Let's go through this 5 times. Feel perhaps the chest and the heart begin to lift slightly. Again, warming up that cervical spine, that upper part of our spine that meets the skull. And then finally coming to neutral. On your inhale, extend your arms out to the side, perhaps in a T. And we're going to just windshield wiper the legs side to side. So on your inhale, take a nice long length in the spine. On the exhale, drop to the right side. Inhale up to center. And then exhale over. You can keep your gaze neutral so that your eyes are forward, or perhaps if you're on the ground looking at the ceiling. Or if you'd like, you can introduce and drop the gaze to the opposite side that your knees are falling to. We're doing our little spinal twist here from side to side, as well as massaging the lower lumbar. And come back to your neutral. Engaging the naval support now. Imagine that you're lying there. I don't know about you, but when I was a teenager in particular, you got to try to get into those tight jeans, and half the time you'd be on the bed trying to pull them up. Perhaps it's a little bit of that feeling. So imagine that you're zipping up that zipper and tucking in that belly and bringing that navel down inward towards the front part of your spine. Breathe in. Bring the knees up. And as you inhale once again, bring the arms up. We're going to breathe here for a couple of rounds, keeping that lower belly engaged. Remember, it's all about holding the pose, never about holding your breath. So find your breath here. And when you are ready, on your next inhale, extend that left leg as the right arm comes back. Inhale back to center. Exhale the right and the left arm goes back. Inhale everything back to center. And then once again, switch sides. So slowly moving an arm and a leg in opposite directions. Keeping that zipper nice and tight in the navel. Allow the upper back and the shoulders to rest firmly on the floor. If you're in the chair, you can do this by coming to the edge of your seat and extending one leg forward and long as the other arm comes back. Move mindfully and keep the same speed as your breath. Let's go through this 4 more times. Re-engaging that belly. And 2 more. 1 more. And as you bring everything back, take a nice deep exhale, drop the knees towards your chest. Maybe your palms come to hug the knees, or perhaps underneath the thighs. Whatever is in reach, keep those shoulders nice and broad and firmly on the ground. Rock back and forth, giving yourself a little hug, a nice massage, finding that space of gratitude for all that your body just did for you. And I'm going to offer up this next thing, and if it does not feel right, again, please take your time. So before we go into that, cross the right over your left leg. Perhaps you are able to grab the feet or your ankles with your hands. Just crossing the legs. Once again, allowing your upper torso to be nice and relaxed on the ground. Just holding your legs or your ankles, continuing to rock back and forth. And this is optional. If you'd like, perhaps begin to rock lengthwise, giving a little bit of massage on that spine. And if you are so inclined and the inertia takes you, rocking all the way up into a seated position. Otherwise, again, untwist your legs, take your time, come up to your seat. How you get here is not important. The fact is you just arrive. So we're going to move into a little bit of a cat and cow. And again, like every pose, there are a multitude of ways to do this. Cat and cow allows us to, again, extend our axial extension, so the tailbone and the crown going up and down. We can do this on our hands and knees if you have no knee or wrist issues. If you do, and it is helpful to have additional cushioning underneath the knees or padding under the wrists, please do so. Alternatively, you can do this seated, either again in like the hero pose that I'm at, or again coming to the chair, sitting on the edge. Doesn't matter how. So I'll demo it a couple of different ways. If you are coming onto your hands and knees, having your knees underneath your hips, tops of your feet down touching the floor. Again, the palms nice and wide, fingers spread wide. This allows the weight to be distributed into the fingers underneath your shoulders. If you have wrist issues, sometimes putting a little bit of padding to lift the wrists up, or you can also make fists. And another option is just coming down to your forearms. So whichever is comfortable. And once you arrive into whatever position of choice, begin to just find some movement in that spine. Maybe dropping the hips side to side. And called wagging the tail, looking at the back, and then coming back to neutral. And then as we begin to take our inhale, drawing the tailbone back as the crown of the head and the chest and the gaze begin to lift. And then as we exhale, beginning to drop that gaze round the shoulders, find that navel support as the navel draws towards that interior spine. And then inhale, find length in that spine, create some space. And then exhale once again. Continue through breathing. If you're sitting, I'm going to demo it from here. We just have our palms on our thighs. Again, drawing down that tailbone, beginning to lengthen and lift the gaze. And as we exhale, exaggerating the movement of the arms as the elbows go out and the navel comes inward. And then inhale up. And exhale. Inhale. Let's do this 3 more times. Exhale down. Once again, mindful movement with your breath, creating space in between each of those vertebrae. Inhale once again. And exhale. And then releasing. And we're going to come into a child's pose. So if you are on your knees, widen the knees, bringing them maybe mat width apart. Bring the toes together. begin to push back into your heels as the arms begin to walk forward. Once again, finding nice length in your spine. If you're able to have the ground meet you by having a pillow or a blanket so that your forehead can rest on it, or maybe just your fists doubled up. Alternative number 2, if you have a chair, this is also a good one. So if you're kneeling in front of your chair, arms on the seat of the chair, once again, push back into your heels as the arms walk forward. Resting your forehead on the bottom of the seat. Allowing that extension in the upper torso, that upper back area. As you breathe, finding space for your belly to rest on your thighs or in between your thighs. And then when you're ready to come out of this, pressing into the palms, beginning to lift, come back up into your neutral, back onto your hands and knees. And from here, let's bring the right leg forward. Curl the back toes under, either using the seat or a block. Come up to your standing, take your time. And we're gonna move into a little bit of a balance pose. Always when coming to standing, we come to find our mountain. And our mountain pose is our position of strength. Mountain can also be done seated if you are uncomfortable standing. Coming to the edge of your chair, feet firmly on the floor, sitting up nice and tall, wherever you want. So I'm going to demo this from the standing position. Let's just lift up the toes, spread them wide, and drop one toe at a time. Then roll up onto the balls of the toes and roll back onto the heels, lifting the toes. Let's do that a couple times just to warm up the fascia. And then releasing. Now we're going to do the balance pose here first. And then we're going to move into warrior, which continues balance. So find your gaze. You can do this by a wall, by the chair, wherever you need to be steady. And first, let's come again and draw attention to the spine. Imagine that you are hanging off of that golden thread. And that golden thread just goes on forever, and that basically your body is like right in the middle of it. You're spiraling on that. You're able to twist from side to side, able to do everything. Begin to shift the weight into your right foot, right leg, drawing that outer hip inward, maybe perhaps squeezing your buttock as you begin to lift that left leg off the floor. The toe can remain on the ground, or maybe you find some place on the inside of that right leg to place that foot, as long as it's not on your knee, which is right here. So we want below or above or just here. Find that focus point. Find that alignment in the spine. Imagine that I've come by and I've pulled that golden thread upward. You can almost feel yourself like a dancer, growing nice and tall. And when you feel like growing your branches, either bringing your hands to your heart center, maybe one or both. Continue to draw that outer right hip inward, squeezing that butt slightly. Imagine that trunk nice and strong. Feel the roots through the feet, deep into the earth beneath you. And as the sun comes out and draws those branches upward, attracted to the light, finding the nutrients from the sun, as you cast a shadow on the earth. And when you're ready, gently furling the branches back towards your center and exhaling, releasing that leg. Let's do that on the opposite side. So coming to the opposite side of your chair or the wall. Once again, always finding your mountain. Root through your feet. Begin to shift the weight into that left. Once again, drawing that energy upward into the hip. Maybe a little firm squeeze in that buttock as you begin to lift that right foot up. Once again, finding its placement. This side may feel completely different, so you may be able to go higher or lower. And when you feel firm and rooted in the ground, begin to bring the branches, once again, feeding off of that light, drawing towards that light. Maybe both hands come to heart and the trunk center. And maybe one or both draw upward as you feel the spine lengthen, strengthen. Keep breathing. And slowly, once again, bringing those branches back down to your heart center, down to your core, and releasing. Shake it out. Let's take our arms out nice and wide. Inhale, up overhead. Exhale, release down. Inhale, up. Exhale, open to the right. Inhale, open to the left. Inhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, open the arms. Exhale, cross the right over left. Give yourself a nice hug. Inhale, open up. Exhale, right over left. Inhale, and then exhale, drop. Step up to the top of your mat. Find again that nice firm footing, nice and tall. On your next inhale, reach and step the right foot back. Adjust your stance so that your forward leg has enough room in order for the knee to bend. Keep the hips pointed towards that extended or front foot. On your exhale, bend into that left knee. Draw the energy through that right leg. Drawing the tailbone down and again, the crown of your head upwards. So nice long spine. Bring the arms up. Or perhaps the arms just stay at the hip center. Inhale, lengthen and feel that rib cage lift off of the hips. Draw that navel support inward. Find your best warrior here. On your next exhale, turn towards your right, opening up your hips and your torso and drop the arms into a T. You can do all of this in a chair, hanging over the edge of the chair. Inhale, bring the arms up and rotate that left foot in. And as we exhale, we're going to rotate that right foot out. And inhale into our warrior on opposite side. As we inhale, we're going to rotate that back foot down, bring the hips forward, and the arms come up into our warrior one on this side. Exhale, drop those arms, open up to the side. Slowly rotate that right foot inward. Reach up into your five-pointed star. Exhale, bring the hands to your hips. Inhale, crown of your head draws up. And then exhale, hinge forward, keeping a nice flat back. Draw that navel, that tummy towards the spine. Draw the hips towards the back of the room. Almost like you're looking at something that you're going, what's that on the ground? Keep the knees soft. And as you inhale, soften the knees a little bit. Begin to curl that tailbone and tuck it under as you bring that nice and slowly back up to standing. Exhale, bring the feet together, shake it off. And we're going to come back down to the ground, onto your bellies. When you arrive, nice and long, hands can be stacked one on top of the other, forehead down on the ground. Take a moment to, again, just notice this. And do a quick body scan. See how your spine is feeling. Notice the connection of your hip bones, maybe your pelvic floor down on the ground. Know that you're supported where you are. And let's bring the arms by our side, nice and long. Tuck the hands underneath the thighs. The tops of your feet, again, pointing the toes nice and long down on the ground. Imagine a nice long spine from the crown of your head all the way down through the tailbone. A nice linear line from your shoulders down to your feet. And once again, drawing attention to that navel support. As you breathe in, imagine that the belly is moving in and tucking just slightly underneath the rib cage. Press the pelvic floor into the mat, into the ground, and begin to lift the feet. And as you inhale, begin to lift the head, the upper torso. Imagine that someone is pulling and lifting your feet up simultaneously with your head and your shoulders. Keep the gaze down. And exhale, release everything back down to the floor. Let's do this 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, lift up. If this is something that doesn't feel right, then just lift up one end or the other, either the feet or the upper body. And then exhale slowly back down. And we're going to extend the arms out. Bring your right palm to your breastbone and bring your knee up to the side. Almost like you're Spider-Man and you're climbing up the side of the building. And just allow yourself to rest here for a moment into this half butterfly-like pose. Remain here for several rounds of breath. And on your exhale, straighten that leg out. Extend that right arm out. Let's bring the left in and also the left knee up. Coming into your half butterfly or half locust. And then exhale, releasing that. And slowly roll onto whatever side coming onto your backs. And this next pose, either being near a wall or have your chair, bed, sofa, somewhere where you'll be able to place your feet up onto. If you are doing this from a chair, because we're going to do a modified bridge pose, so you want to make sure that your chair is not going to slide as you move, put pressure onto it. So I'm just going to demo it from here. You're on your backs. Bring the tops of your feet, or the bottoms of your feet, not the tops of your feet, to the chair edge. Or to the wall, or again to the top of your bed or your sofa. But you want something that's immovable. Okay, we want it to be steady, stable. So when we come into our little bit of a bridge pose, with the arms down by our side, our back fully relaxed and grounding into the earth. On your inhale, we're going to begin to curl that tailbone up and release. Begin to press into the seat as you again inhale, bringing that tailbone up. And if you'd like, continue to perhaps bring the spine up off the floor, one vertebra at a time. If this is too much for you right now, then simply inhale, curl that tailbone up off the floor, draw that belly in, and then exhale, release. Inhale, begin to lift and curl that tailbone. Once again, either choosing to continue all the way up, tucking the shoulders under, the chin slightly in. And exhale, release. And your choice, one more, either again, curling that tailbone, drawing that navel back towards the spine, holding there for a minute, or else going all the way up. And then exhale back down. Windshield wiper from side to side. Again, just releasing a little bit of that in the hip area. And then coming into our final pose of quiet, either choosing to have the feet up onto the chair, legs up the wall, something to allow that lower lumbar, that back, that spine to rest fully on the ground. Knowing that you're always supported, feeling the earth cradle your physical body, as if you were in Mother Earth's palms. Take a deep breath in. And as you fully and completely exhale, allow that feeling of surrender as your body rests in Mother Nature's palm. Come back to that centering thought. Come back to that feeling of gratitude. And just be. And continue to lie restfully, breathing fully and naturally, allowing that slow and gentle journey back into your physical body, back into this present moment. Maybe begin to introduce subtle and gentle movements. Maybe rolling the head from side to side. Wiggling the fingers or toes. And when you are ready, gently coming back into a seated and upright position. And let's bring our hands to prayer at heart center. And collectively take 3 deep, full cleansing breaths together through the nose. Inhale and exhale. Breathe in and breathe out. And last one, breathe in and a big exhale through the lips. And gently bowing towards our prayer hands. May all beings be free from fear and harm. May we all be happy just the way we are. May we be at peace and ease with whatever comes. And may we all rest gently in the softness of our own hearts. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. And remember to take some of what you've learned and incorporate it into your day each and every day. Particularly take care of your spine and it will take care of you. So be gentle. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Wow.
Have a good day.
Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.